Hello, hello. Welcome one and all to the stream. Definitely hope Grin enjoys his vacation. I'm doing pretty good. This stream will probably be a little shorter, but cool, the redirect worked. So anyone that didn't click, welcome as well. Hello, Grin viewers. Yeah, there it goes. So welcome back to HoloCure, this time with a proper thumbnail. I will probably be ending in about 6 p.m. my time.
Said here.
So we'll see how much I can get done. Let's see, who do I want to... I've got most of the latest ones to get leveled up, essentially, so... Let's see, did I get Watame? Yeah. Hope you all are doing well and having a good Monday. If anyone would like me to kind of go through the list of characters and maybe pick one to play next, let me know. Otherwise, I'll slowly go through them. Alright, that's fair. Hope you're enjoying it. Bolty, I'm glad that you picked the game up as well. Yeah, I could do Choco. Just go ahead and select her, or keep going through the list if anyone else wants to see. Realizing just how many of these have graduated now. Yeah, Suisei, I could do her as well. But yeah, of this current roster, the ones that aren't part of HoloLive anymore include Amelia, Gura, Fauna, Mume, and Sana. Let's see. This one was definitely one of the hardest ones. But Mel, Shion, Ayame, and Coco. But hey, their memory lives on in so many ways, including this game. So, since Red did say Nurse Succubus, I'll do her first, and then I'll do Suisei. I think this is actually my favorite outfit of hers, but Red, do you have any preference? Original, or more nurse-like, or more maid-like? Okay. Oh, I didn't do stage 2 with her? Surprising. Good early get. I mean, those are her horns. Might as well get them. Feel tempted just kind of making a build out of items that make sense. To her being a nurse. That definitely doesn't work. She's definitely not one of the characters that utilizes the cutting board. I don't think there's any... I could consider getting this, given that she's kind of in a unit with Botan, Subaru, and Luna. So that can be relevant to her as well. Yeah, sure. And then I'll grab the sausage item as well. I don't think there's any Botan items in the game yet, though. Her fans show up. I think I mentioned already, but Botan's also been playing Stellar Blade recently. And she seems to be having a good time with it, collecting outfits and finding little Easter eggs and things. Now, I do prefer sausage with plug type, but the other collab with sausage is a little more direct of a Subaru reference. But I mean, plug type also kind of makes sense for Choco. I'm pretty sure she participated in the Asakoko marketing. Yeah, I can go ahead and grab it either way. I need to get the lifesteal stamp as well, as a reference to Mel and being one of her friends. I need to get an anvil to enchant this look type. I mean, sure, but it's also more context than that, where it also makes sense. Choco also did like a kind of a form of an IQ test, is like a Japanese equivalent thing with a lot of the other Japanese members.
Fluff, you may have answered this question in Bryn's stream before, but who is your favorite VTuber, and if you can't pick one, do top 3.
So for HoloLive Japan, my favorite is Watame. I played her last time I played this, while also really liking Botan, Roboco, Subaru. I kind of have like a favorite from each wave as well. For the English-speaking side, Mokoko has taken over kind of the top spot, but I also really like Gura and Callie a lot, especially those two together. I'm gonna miss seeing them do stuff together. I also really like Fauna. A lot of my favorites have sadly graduated, but most of them have come back in a new life, so. Let's see. But yeah, I pretty much have a favorite from each HoloLive generation. So, let's see. I like Fubuki quite a lot. I almost consider her the most accurate, like, mascot of HoloLive, having a similar color scheme to their iconography and everything. But she's also kind of a weird case of being like a 2-generation person, because she was a Gen 1 while also being kind of the veteran to introduce the gamers, which is like 2.5. And to answer your question, Red, I've shared, probably linked her new life already, but probably not too hard to find her if you look up someone associated with lighthouses and mackerels. But I'll tell you the direct name on off stream. I kind of want to be respectful about talking about non-HoloLive identities of former HoloLive people. She's still a blue fish. So. But let's see. So Gen 0 Roboco is easily my favorite of the bunch. find her just adorable. Plus, I have a big soft spot for kind of high-tech robotic characters and such. Gen 1, probably well, let's see. Actually, I really liked Mel, so that's where it was definitely sad her termination because of what was honestly probably just an honest mistake, but something that broke contract and there was no lighter resolution than to terminate it. So that sucks. She's back to streaming though as a new identity and has a pretty cute model as well. Fubuki's kind of a special case for her, for me. As I said, she feels like she's just the HoloLive, like, mascot. Even though Sora's the original member, but Fubuki just feels like she is the face. Even if she's maybe not the most popular out of the bunch for some tastes. And for Gen 2, Subaru, hands down, my favorite. But alongside her would be Ayame, Choco, Shion, and Aqua, which both Shion and Aqua have graduated. I think Aqua has reincarnated. I don't think I've heard anything about Shion coming back in a new form. But I'll probably hear about it at some point, even if I'm not looking for it. YouTube tends to recommend it due to my watching habits. So then Gen 3, well no, Gen 2.5 is at least what I call gamers. Okayu is actually my very first recommendation I received regarding VTubers. So she has kind of a special category as well, similar to Fubuki. But Okayu was my very first exposure directly to VTubers, and it was the first one I subscribed to well before realizing they were part of a whole big corporate entity. So Okayu's up there. She's really cool. But I also really like Mio and Korone as well. So kind of they're a nice full package. Gen 3 is Fantasy, and easily Marine is my favorite from them. She's also up there in like my top 5. Sometimes threatening Watame's top spot for me. But I just love her personality, her voice. When she was having like a new hairstyle or outfit or something. I think it was like a new hairstyle debut. And people were guessing with like little silhouettes and fan art of what the style would be. And someone drew her with Ranma's hairstyle, and she started like humming the theme, and I was like, yep, I think I found one that I really resonate with, given that was like pretty much my first anime I grew up with, so it has a big significance for me. I just wish the reboot didn't have some of the Western voice actor crap that's been going on lately. It's like, stop changing the writing of everything. Just like be accurate, as accurate as you can get. Don't throw your agendas into it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start watching everything in Japanese. So after that is Gen 4, Hollow Force, which is Watame. I do like a lot of the Gen 3 members as well. I've always liked Flare's design, being the kind of darker skinned elf look. That reminds me of like Record of Lotus War or Puritas. So I always thought that was a very pretty look. And I just found her design really eye-catching. I've grown to really like Noelle as well. She's the knight captain, essentially. She likes using maces and stuff, and it was really cool seeing her play like Elden Ring, like using purely mace type weapons. I think I got these two. I would have done the other one by like the lightning more. I don't need that for now. I also quite like... I mean, Pakor is pretty fun too. I don't dislike her, I just don't have a strong preference for her either, but she is fun. She's Kiara's original Oshi as well, so to the point where Kiara kind of developed a similar laugh. And, well, Pakor is in Death Stranding, which is amazingly just crazy to see stuff like that. Just like Gura and the other mostly blue Hololive members showing up in the Dodger Stadium and other things like that. It's just... I never would have expected something so... what probably should have stayed niche blow up in such a way that is usually filled with positivity, though, which is great. Yeah. And Norman Reedus even can get a little Nosagi hat and start speaking like Bakura, which is hilarious. Kojima really likes putting things he loves into his games, even if it doesn't make any sense at first glance. But yeah, for Gen 4, I really like Watame. She's been one of my favorites from the start. She's really cozy. She's pretty funny. Has a unique singing voice and speaking voice. And she did nothing wrong. Let no one tell you any different. Gen 5 debuted like a month before Myth did, so I'll go in that order. Yeah. But with Gen 5, Photon, easily my favorite, but I do have a soft spot for the other members of her gen. Polka's really fun, Nene's precious. Lami's pretty great too, although I've probably watched her the least, but she's a pretty snow elf. Let's see. Is this one... This one does combine. Technically, I might... Nah, I don't really need the healing. I'll go ahead and grab this, and I can go ahead and do these two. And then, of course, I didn't... I was exposed to HoloLive properly outside of being introduced to Okayu, because that was like a year-ish before Myth debuted, I actually got into them like a couple days after the debuts, and then I was hooked ever since. And then engrossed myself in all the stuff about all their groups. So it's been quite the ride, quite the nearing 5-year.
Lone Syndicate said from Myth, I like Mori and Kiera. I haven't real dove into other HoloLive VTuber outside of Myth.
Yeah, so I pretty much fell down the rabbit hole properly and with Myth. Really liking Gura. I think Mori, Callie, she's probably my favorite of that group, but I've also still really like Ina. I really like Kiara. Partially just for personal connection, because I took German class for, I think, 3 out of 4 high school years, although I didn't end up finishing, so. Regardless, I have some German knowledge, so it's fun having a popular and growing VTuber that's Austrian, but adjacent. But yeah, Kiara's a lot of fun. I've actually been probably watching her the most because I like a lot of what games she likes to play. I got like her whole Stellar Blade playthrough saved to watch. I could probably watch it all now since I've already played through the game once. But yeah, she's a lot of fun. I feel like she's someone worth watching. She's great to listen to. She goes on tangents all the time, but she's always willing to try things that are not in her wheelhouse. Everything from playing New Vegas and Doom, the Stellar Blade, and various RPGs. Mario Kart, all sorts of stuff, of course. I think I can risk the face mask. It's a fitting one for nurse stuff. A lot of the items that have detrimental effects actually seem like a good option for Choco. Don't have anything for Fan Beam. Let me double check if I have. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, a lot of the time I end up consuming HoloLive stuff through clips nowadays. It's just rarely can I catch a stream. Obviously, while I'm streaming myself, I can't easily do that. Although, I've got audio splitting set up now where if I really wanted to, I could pull up a stream. Especially when a certain blue fish likes to schedule their streams at the same time that I normally would start mine now. But yes, going from Myth, there was Iris's individual debut, though she was eventually merged into English's Gen 2, which was Council, later rebranded to Promise. But from that set of them, I really like Fauna. I like the rest of them too, like, obviously there's only so many that remain now. Faye's a lot of fun. Crony's great. Mume was wonderful, and so was Sana. I definitely miss Sana. I felt like she was a very unique individual. And Hope she's doing okay nowadays. She hasn't returned as like a VTuber or anything. She's a professional artist though, and you may recognize her stuff mostly in Arknights, I think. I think it's Arknights. She has like 3 or 4 characters now in that game. I really liked how she drew eyes, which only gripe I have is that her kind of legacy she left in HoloLive was the little big small avatars for the Promise members, and she did like a copy paste scribble eyes for everyone, and I just was like, man, what a wasted opportunity. Because that's one of my favorite things with art styles is how they draw eyes for characters, so it just saddened me that that's what she left for HoloLive, which, I mean, maybe has some connotations to it. I don't know. I've never seen enough information to indicate otherwise. With Bounce Ball, I need to get something else, so I'll just go with Crit. So then after Council Promise, they did Gen 6 and, for the Japan branch. And my favorite from Gen 6, which would be Louis. I really like Louis a lot. I also like Koyori. Apparently I like a lot of the pink ones. I don't know what it is, it just happens to be most of the ones that are generally associated with the color pink. I end up really liking for their personalities and for all other aspects. It just happens to be they're pink. And then I think they did the Device and Advent around the same time. Yeah. So they eventually created a new music-oriented sub-branch of HoloLive called Device, and then from there they have 2 smaller subgroups of that called Regloss and Flowglow. So with Regloss, I'm not sure if I have a favorite. Well, no, I like Ririka a lot, but like their members are all pretty great too. But Ririka probably is my favorite of those. For those that would maybe recognize it, she was one of the 2 that was like the iPhone brain, Galaxy brain. She was the one saying that she has a Galaxy brain, and then Kanade misinterpreted it as talking about a Samsung Galaxy. So then she was like, I have iPhone brain. But they both have been learning English, and it's been fun seeing them go through that kind of process. Then Advent debuted, and they probably have the hardest set for me to consider like an absolute favorite, other than the fact that Mokoko exists. And I'm sorry to say to Fuawa, I know they're twins and they're great together, but I love Mokoko. She is like one of the best additions to HoloLive for me. But I really like Shiori, I really like Bijou and Narissa as well. They're a great group. And then Flowglow, I think, debuted first before Justice. I think. It's hard to remember. Things have been a bit of a blur. I don't think I have room for any more collabs, so I'll just grab the bucket. I haven't watched much of Flow Glow, but I think my favorite from them would be Chihaya. She's the one that's kind of like a driver, mechanic, racing theme, but she's really fun. I like her design a lot. And then with Justice, actually they are probably the hardest one for me to declare an absolute favorite for, because I really like Raura, I really like Cecilia and Gigi and Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth was the one that kind of surprised me the most and kind of won me over. But I like all four of them. And I look forward to seeing who's next for HoloCure, because version 0.8 is coming at some point. I don't think it's going to end up being this year, and if it is, it's going to be pretty late into the year. I think KU said that pretty much they'll be going in chronological order, so I think that probably means Gen 5 and 6, since we already have the English branches that debuted beforehand. And then we might be getting either a combination of English and device, or we'll be getting them as two separate packs. But generally, we've been getting like around 9 characters every update. But I know, at least I think it's still the plan that they're also going to include the Holo Stars, both the Japanese and English branches. Oh right, and then there's Indonesia. From the Indonesian branch, probably Ollie has become my favorite overall. She's just very infectiously positive personality. But initially, when I wasn't familiar too much with... Oh, and I guess I won. I wasn't too familiar with these members. Well, these 3. And I kind of like all 3 of what they call Area 15, which is ID Gen 1. I kind of like them all equally. Yofi's a lot of fun, Risu's great, Muna's great. I don't really have a one inching out the other more than the others. I think they're a great trio, and they kind of feel like 3 sisters. Like, even there was a point, I think they all lived in like the same place, and there's like the infamous Risu stealing Muna's piggy bank, and that's where actually the piggy bank item is called Stolen Piggy Bank for everyone else aside from Muna, which is like reclaimed piggy bank because it's hers. So yeah, these 3 are great. Of these 3, I initially really liked Anya's design, and I do like her personality and way of speaking and everything. I just haven't really managed to watch her all that much, but I do find her probably still, like, artistically my favorite. But personality-wise, I watch Ollie the most if I'm going to be watching any of them. And then for the last trio, Kyla is my favorite. She hasn't been updated to her new default outfit yet for the game, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. Her personality is just great too. Another case of just, I really like how they speak. Kobo's great. Not quite my cup of tea. Zeta, similarly, I don't watch her all that much. But I've also been loving that Kyla and Bijou have become fast friends. And they have their like grindstone duo name. And then for like the Holostars, I can't really remember how their groups are divided, but I like Arurin. He's the like Italian themed pizza mafia kind of guy of sorts, but he's really fun. And then otherwise, when they debuted Uproar, which kind of was the precursor to the Device music inclined waves for the girls side, I really like Rio. He's really cool. I like his design. His voice reminds me of, like, once again, Ranma's voice acting from the original English dub. And he's like a kind of periwinkle colored ghost. So I like his look overall. For the guys, on the English side, the initial debut was Tempest. And sadly, my favorites from the first four both left. So Magni and Vesper, I really like both of them a lot. Now they've moved on. One of them returned to their orc salaryman job. The other one has since reincarnated as a different VTuber as well. So it's great to see that they're still going strong, and they're both loving the VTubing stuff. Then the second wave was Vanguard, and of them I really like I kind of like all four of Vanguard almost equally. Shinri's nice. He's definitely like a big Papa Bear kind of personality. He's really cozy, likes playing more relaxed games. Flayon I do quite like. He's like a mecha pilot, but he really likes fighting games, so there's some connection there for me of interest, because I casually really like fighting games as well. I'm just terrible at them most of the time. I don't consider myself competitively viable. And he actually shows up in Idol Showdown, which is the fan-made, free-to-play HoloLive fighting game. So he's one of the bosses in the game, which is pretty cool, and he even did his own voice acting for it. Same with Ollie. She's playable, and she's done voice acting for Idol Showdown as well. What else? I really like... I think I like the latest Holostars English guys even more. They were Armis, and they're like a bounty hunter group instead of like an adventurers guild, which is what Tempest is themed around. I really like Ruse. Crimson Ruse is really cool. He has quite the voice. He's I think out of any comparison, he has a very much like a Bakugo kind of voice most of the time, but he actually is pretty flexible with what he can sound like. But he's pretty cool. He's a lot of fun. He's great at talking with others. And then I haven't watched Gold Bullet or Octavio much, but they seem pretty cool overall. And then I've been more exposed to Gerard over time, partially because he does a lot of collabs with Ollie, and also joins in for like Team Red, which is like Elizabeth, Ollie, Flayon, and Gerard, and any other redheads that want to join in for that, but it's mostly them. So Gerard's pretty fun too. If I recall, he's Filipino, or at least speaks Tagalog, and he also learned English by watching Markiplier, so he does a really good Markiplier impression, especially when he greets people and like does his introductions on stream. So yeah, Gerard's pretty great too, but Ruse was definitely my favorite of the bunch from there, and that covers... I think that covers every HoloLive Productions wave. So I know it's not as simple as just like what's my favorite. I mean, I gave my initial answer. Watame, where is she? Up here. Watame is my, I guess what you would call Kamiyoshi. She's the one above all. Marine's really close to that. Same with Botan, which she's not in this list. But yeah, Watame, hands down. Oh, where'd she go? She's my favorite, and probably will be, with Marine being like the closest runner-up. And then outside of HoloLive, I really like Miami Tenma. She's one of the Phase Connect VTubers. Really sassy, feisty fox girl. So, I mean, I have a soft spot there with the fox theme. But she's great. She's one of my favorites from a smaller agency. And I have some other favorites, but it's harder to remember them off the top of my head immediately without having to like go through who else I like. But yeah, so hope that answers it, even if it was very long-winded. Let's see, was it Bolty that was asking for Tetris? Yeah, Suisei. So which outfit would you like to see? I mean, most of these are kind of samey in terms of just at a distance. And then she has her halberd version. Want me to use the halberd, or want me to do like her classic look, or what would you prefer? Okay, default. Halberd it is. If I recall, her playstyle is like a more advanced version of Callie. Both being kind of a frontal slash. Although her super collab that makes the halberd is not that great. So I think instead I'll be pairing it with the owl dagger once I find it. That's actually pretty good to get early. Headphones would be a fitting item for her. Musically, I do like a lot of Suisei's singing in songs. She has quite the dedicated fan base, despite not really having a official fan mascot. And if anything, that seems to just drive those fans ever onward. Congrats, well done. I think the corporate pin got reworked. I don't remember that being what it did. Or I've rarely gotten it, which might be the case. Might be thinking of a different item. Cool. Yeah, since I was had plenty of progress before version 1.0, that's why I survives pretty well with the Elementalist, despite being level 0, essentially. yeah, like recent stuff I've loved to see from HoloLive was most of them jumping into Night Rain as various trio collabs, which was fun. Definitely love seeing multiplayer like games like that they can all share the fun with together. And of course, currently, like the Musume has taken over most of their channels. Not that those are... I guess it is like one of the rare exceptions for them, because not many gacha games actually are Japanese products. And, well, a while back they had that whole debacle with most Chinese-owned things were kind of banned from their ability to play. Which really sucked. I hated that, because Gura, like, redeemed her gamer skills by playing... let's see, what was the name of it? One of the rhythm games, I'm blanking on its name. But there's no full archive proof of that anymore, because due to like what happened back in the day, they had to pretty much unlist or private or delete those old VODs. So, because it just happened to be a Chinese-owned game, so it was what it was. Some of them have more relations have improved over time. Again, so I remember when like Kobo played Genshin over on I guess it was Bilibili, but I was surprised and relieved that they were able to play such, at least to some level. But frankly, similar to just like, I don't often watch Twitch, I don't think I'll worry about trying to catch things on another streaming or video platform if I can have the choice. And yeah, I think it's fun. It's kind of like a weirdly full circle, since like horse racing is already gambling. And then to put in the gacha element to it on top. They did a pretty good job converting the interface to PC as well. Like, it is a little odd. You can definitely tell that it was taking mobile screens and then splicing them together. I need to get the owl dagger. I'm trying to think of some other VTubers I really like. I mean, there's those like Iron Mouse. It's hard not to like her, and she technically predates the HoloLive boom. She was like streaming as a VTuber of sorts before it was publicly accepted as the term. I think all the way back to like 2018, 2017 or something, whereas HoloLive got their start around late 2018. And there's been some other ones that I do enjoy from time to time, like Puff Pup, Silvervale, Aethel and Neanners are fun from time to time as well. I'm trying to think if there's been so many recent... I mean, obviously there was, however long ago it was, where I was sharing all of the VTuber designs. They were pretty much most of my favorites from all sorts of groups. Maiden Mint's pretty great. Doki Bird's great. Oh, I have a big soft spot for Sunny Splosion as well, but I was watching her back when she was just playing, having like highlights from her playing League of Legends back in the day, because there's a fan animation, a couple fan animations about her, so that was when I was first exposed to her. And then she became a VTuber after her trip to Japan. She like came back to her channel and was like, "Hey guys, did you hear about these VTubers and the Myth debut and everything?" So it was fun that she was getting into it as well. And then had a brief stint in Niji Sanji. I liked her design in that as well, but she's back to being Sunny. Although I'm not necessarily the happiest with her direction of content, where most of what she posts on YouTube now is just reaction content, and I'm like, I don't mind the reaction stuff, but when it's all I see, it's disappointing. Like, I liked seeing gameplay, I like seeing like dynamics with friend groups and other things like that, so just seeing her... Now, to be fair, she's like learning about stuff, like she started learning about 40k, like a lot of VTubers are doing now. In part thanks to Bricky. Oh, that's another one I like. I like Matara Khan. I really liked her previous life in Niji Sanji, one of my favorite models of that era. But yeah, Matara's pretty great too. It's hard to easily remember a lot of others, but I've listed most of the ones that definitely are higher on my list. I just am especially a fan of HoloLive in particular. Alright, take care, Bolty. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be streaming at 2 p.m. So pretty much the same time slot that Bryn does for the rest of the week. And the next couple weeks after that. So it'll be a little easier on sleep schedules for people. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I would say give it a try. You'll probably enjoy it. It has a lot of progression in it without it actually costing anything. And there's even the house and other side game modes. There's the Usada Casino. There's the Tower of Despair, or whatever they call it, essentially Jump King mode. Which I'm probably going to have to try to complete at some point. Because it's one of the achievements. I just really like this genre in particular, so that's why I mostly just play the base mode. Nanora. Yeah, Luna also has a pretty high appreciation from me as well. Especially, I was impressed of how much of a Monster Hunter veteran she is. She's back when like Rise was coming out on her stream, she like listed all of the games that she's played of the series, and she's pretty much played from the beginning, at least since the second entry. So, for being a so-called baby princess, boy, does she have a lot of experience in games. I need to double check if I have. I'm not using a projectile, so that's not going to help. Have that and strengthen it. Yeah, this is fantastic. And if you like fighting games, Idle Showdown is also free and really fun. And then if you like games like Castle Crashers and other side-scrolling beat-em-ups, there's also Hollow Break, or technically it's like listed as Hollow X Break. Could also be probably pronounced Hodo Break or something, but it's pretty fun. You get to play as Gen 5, and then you also get to unlock Gen 6 as playable characters, so it's kind of a nice way to include them well before they're going to be added in this. So it was a fun additional project that KU worked on, given that KU has been one of the artists for like the River City Girls games and is a big fan of Hololive in general. Has done a lot of fan art for a lot of them, including Callie. I'll leave that be for the moment. Forgot to even use the special ability with all the Tetris blocks. But yeah, this might be the best free-to-play game anyone could ever hope to play. Well, I have most of the Hollow Indie games. Plus, there is their metaverse, whatever you want to call it, called Hollow Earth, as a kind of social, but also kind of open world crafting sort of game. Similar to like Craftopia and, to a degree, Pal World. And some of those other survival crafting games. But yeah, there's some other Hololive indie games that I could definitely show off at some point. That aren't just pixelated art styles. But a lot of them will be. I'll actually pause after this and look at my library to see what other ones I have of the Hololive stuff. But I can probably find a way to have some fun Hololive-centric streams sometime. Not just during this vacation time for Grin. Sure. Let's see, I need to upgrade the owl daggers or enchant. Bloodlust. And upgrade these other ones. Yep. remind myself what works with cutting board. Bomb, flattening board, ball for the big wall, or Ian Curse for Q, I think is what is, or Bone Bros. Let's see if I can get that one. And I also need to get the dress to get the super collab for that. Now, let me see if I can get Ian Curse. Or no, there's the idol costume. Yeah, there's some pretty good options. There's like a kind of a indie game that's like HoloLive Animal Crossing that's in the works. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, I'll switch to this in case I have projectiles to worry about, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be. So I forget its name. I think it's only had trailers in Japanese so far, but it's gonna be like a little life sim cozy game. Speaking of, I need to find a chance to stream Linked, because it'd be fun to show that off too. I feel like it deserves some more attention than it's gotten. It's definitely up there amongst my favorite Animal Crossing adjacent type of games. Yep, that too. So maybe next week I'll find a way to squeeze it in. Because, let's see, other than what I've already settled on, I still, of course, I'm going to be dedicating Saturdays and Sundays mostly for Stellar Blade. Get like few to 4 to 6 hours of progress each stream if possible. I realize I have like no healing. I should try to fix that before the... What fishing feature were they adding? Oh, right, there was the thing to skip the... little message, yeah. Well, they've had a couple Twitch drops, which I did claim recently, so they're definitely still trying to keep the game going, although I think I only found like 1, maybe 2 people streaming it on Twitch, so that's not a great sign. But I think it's a good game. I definitely want to try to help give it more attention. Because it's got some fun elements. It's like Animal Crossing mixed with Cult of the Lamb, so it has the roguelike, but co-op roguelike elements. Yeah, I mean that's like you decide to shelve the game for now, and then you'll come back when it has an update, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. I've had that happen with a handful of games too. I don't consider it that petty, it's just, unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't work out to get back to it. Unless if you really just dedicate time for it. Like for me, I'm doing what I can to showcase Stellar Blade, and then I'll probably decide on some other game that I want to do as like story-based playthroughs of things for Saturdays and Sundays going forward. I was not sure what. I've been thinking of different games, whether it be Cyberpunk. I'd probably like to do a stream of, since I've yet to actually finish the game. So it'd be fun to play that and have others that either have or first time experience it. Although I might even consider seeing if I can get the exotics mod to work and not cause crashes or anything and play through it that way. Since exotics are canon, they exist in the tabletop. Still funny. I hope the story's true, where Pondsmith created exotics and kind of to spite one of his friends that hated furries, and then apparently that friend became a furry afterwards. Which is just still funny. Yeah, I'll definitely need to check out Starbound again sometime. I personally think I will only... as much as Terraria is like the grandfather of that version of like a Minecraft style game but in a flat environment, I don't think the tiers work. Yeah, I need to get some other item. Right, I was needing to get a... I have something else I need to get. But, what was I saying? With Starbound, yeah. I think Terraria is cool. Personally, I think I only like its collabs that it's had in other games, where, like, Dungeon Defenders and even the new Power World stuff, I think is neat. But that's, like, the most I care about Terraria. I don't really want to play it. I have little to no interest in playing Terraria myself, but Starbound had so much cool potential. I love the sci-fi aspect of it. I like the playable races. I liked what they wanted to do with it. I hate what happened to it, or what lack thereof of anything happening for it. Let's see, I already have the super collab, so what else can I make? Yeah, I find Starbound has a better look and feel overall, and I like just everything else about it. Yeah, I feel like there's something to be said of, like, just because a game has, like, received more attention or love or support by the devs or otherwise, doesn't mean that the other game is lacking outside of, you know, not getting the support it deserved. So I end up having a lot of games where I love the game, but, like, I'm one of the few people that do. I have my niche interests. No one else is going to like this game, even if it has multiplayer or co-op, but it was one of my favorite things. It was a guilty pleasure game, and Starbound's up there amongst them. Similarly goes for, like, games like City of Heroes and some of those other things where most people were World of Warcraft MMO players, or EverQuest, or Anarchy Online, or a bunch of other MMOs. I was City of Heroes. That was my game. That was my family's game. We adored that. And it was at, like, near the perfect time where it came out, and then we had things like The Incredibles, and we had eventually the MCU. So it just, like, culminated into a love for comic books and superheroes and having all sorts of fun ways to create your characters and have a wide mix of power. So I'm going to look into it. I'm going to try to stream City of Heroes at some point with the Homecoming server. I think it's safe to do. I just need to make sure that I'm not going to have any issues doing so, because I would have a blast sharing one of my all-time favorite games with you guys. It's just, I have so many good memories, and I remember how, like, every May, even after the game was shut down, I would feel this sense of, like, longing, because that was the anniversary for the game. And then the private servers came out of the woodworks, and because of all sorts of stuff. It's a long story for that, but I will say I don't feel that sense anymore because the game's still playable now. It's back to being available, but it took 7 years after it shut down originally, so it was definitely an interesting kind of up and down roller coaster for me over the years. But yeah, I want to share City of Heroes with you guys at some point. I think it'd be fun going through the character creator, maybe having you guys give input on like what kind of class and power set and faction and everything else that I kind of can do. And while I was originally planning on doing a separate Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, I'm talked with my brother. We're just gonna stream the rest of our sessions going forward. So starting on Wednesday, I just figured, hey, kill two birds with one stone. I'll play it with him on stream. I'm not gonna have his voice heard, so he'll be silent for the stream itself, but I think that was like the best compromise, to be able to still play it with him every Wednesday or so, but then also stream to be productive in that regard. Plus, I think it would be fun to share that as well. I know you, Red, in particular, don't want to have the game spoiled, so what I'm going to say there, go play it yourself. Just find time and play it. Because I'd like to have you around for the streams. But I mean, you can only use that excuse for so long, Red. You need to just find the time and play it. And if you're not going to, then you might as well just watch my stream. But yeah, what items? So I'm gonna... I don't really want to do bounce ball. I could do bomb, I think. Yeah, I'll do bomb. Well, then probably jot down your highest priority backlog, and then just focus on doing each, and then have BG3 be the end goal. Yikes, I don't think I'm gonna get this. Yeah, I'm sure, but I'm just trying to encourage it, because there's going to come a point where either you're going to have it spoiled for you, or you're finally going to have the time to play through it. And the game's on patch 8. That's the last official patch, as far as I'm aware. Now's the time to do it. Mods will mostly be up to date for it. It has built-in mod support. You can probably use Nexus 2 to supplement anything you've missed. Similar to, like, finishing Cyberpunk. So if you haven't done Cyberpunk yet, I would like you to be there for the streams, but if the reason is, oh, you don't want to see the ending I get, well, I don't know what to tell you then. Yeah, well, I guess to be fair, a lot of Elden Ring is the gameplay itself. There's not a lot of story technically to spoil. Whereas BG3 is a story game. So I can do one more. I have enough time for that. I might actually want to do Toa, but if you have any other suggestions, Lone, if you're still here, you didn't give any suggestions on who to play, so I'd be happy for your input if you're still able to. I know, I'm pretty sure he mentioned Callie and Kiara being some of his favorites, so I could be one of those two. Or I can try someone less familiar. But that's all said. I'm looking forward to finally getting to It Takes Two with you tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be up in time for that. That's fair. How far did you get in the game? It sounded like you got close to the end. So if I do play it, you're welcome to watch until a certain point. Like, if, for example, if you haven't done the DLC, that could be when you dip, or if it's getting close to the ending, then you can dip. Then it's just a matter of, like, seeing what choices I make versus what you've made. Yeah. Well, if Lone or anyone else would like to give a quick suggestion on who I should play next, otherwise I'll pick someone. Yeah, I definitely look forward to finally playing it for myself. Playing It Takes Two tomorrow, and then I really want to get into Split Fiction. I feel like thematically it's the most interesting to me, but It Takes Two is also looking really good. Don't care for A Way Out. I've seen it play through at least a couple times by now, and I don't really like its tone. Okay, well, in that regard, I could probably play most of Cyberpunk without being a spoiler issue for you. BG3, on the other hand, I will be happy to make a list, help you make a list of backlog to prioritize, and then that way you don't have to watch the current streams, but, you know, if you've done Act 1 or whatever, you probably can watch that up to a certain point there. Otherwise, what I choose and what my brother helps choose doesn't mean it'll be how your playthrough goes. There's plenty of... I don't know, because I haven't finished Act 1. I think it's... There's kind of multiple paths, but there's like the Underdark area. There's the mountains. It's some point after you fully save or other choices for the Druid's Grove, but I don't exactly know because I haven't actually ever finished Act 1 yet. Okay, since Lone doesn't seem like he's able to chime in, I'm gonna go with Toa. Which I haven't done much with her yet. My favorite music is this, but I want to do a stage that I haven't done with her yet. To only the sandy beach area, you haven't progressed to any other regions of Act 1. Either way, I would have to say that it's fine. Yeah. So it's fine if you've only done that much. I don't expect you to have to tune in for that. That's mostly for myself and my brother to finally play through it together. And I figured it would be a great opportunity to just do two birds with one stone. We were already gonna play it every Wednesday, so why not also stream it? But that's only one stream out of a week, so I'm fine if you don't show up for those. I'm just saying that the spoiler reason is only gonna last so long, and I want you to be able to enjoy the game too. I mean, heck, nowadays we can even do like the seamless co-op for Elden Ring and play through it that way. Whether with a new or existing character. Yeah, well, if you need any help shopping, I have a good enough understanding of things, and as long as I know the parts, we can find something compatible. PC cases, thankfully, aren't too expensive most of the time. There's some of the lowest cost. So you probably need a larger case then. No, as I said, there's probably some good options out there. What type of case? I got like a pretty good something airflow case that is good for a I guess a mid-size, but still has room to spare. Well, I hope those work out. Horoyanke. Nice getting to learn some of the little mascot names. But yeah, after we do It Takes Two and Split Fiction, we can probably look at some other co-op things like The Ascent, but I would like to, in one way, help both of us get through some of our backlog titles. Hopefully It Takes Two is going to be too heavy on your system while you're having the fan issue. It's an old enough game that it probably should be okay, but that may be a wrinkle that we didn't consider. Possibly, yeah. If you need to, we can maybe do a troubleshooting run after I get back from my errands to make sure it's all working right, and then we just start fresh on stream. Yeah, it's probably... Well, it definitely isn't helping. Yeah. I figure most of the time you can at least handle 120. And that might be better for the sake of stability and keeping your PC happy until you can get the fan situation fixed. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Look at all these chickens. Yeah, it's that anime filter's adding like technically to achieve the like outline effect. It's essentially drawing shadows on the edges of everything, and shadows can really tank GPU performance, especially if not handled well. Lighting and shadow in general. So, as cool as the filter is, if your PC is going to be struggling from it, it's not really worth it in that regard. It was something with Champions Online. It has that comic book outline filter, but it tanked performance back in the day, so it usually was worth turning it off despite it not looking as cool without it. Nowadays, I'm sure my PC can handle it because it's an old enough game. Yep, that does help. It's at least good to have a backup. There's a streamer that I watch as well, who talks about how whenever he's buying any like equipment, he always buys a second just in case, and it actually came in handy because he had like a headset and it died and he had a spare one on hand, so pretty much like having a spare tire ready to go. You never know when you're going to need to replace it. So sure, it's pricey to do it that way, but it can be worth it in the long run if you can afford it. Because electronics and equipment in general can just die when you least expect it. There's always that proverbial nail on the road. Yeah, GPUs wouldn't be. I was more meaning like headsets, mics, etc. Peripherals, not so much PC parts. That is not generally possible for most people. Not nowadays. Maybe in the past, I think GPUs didn't used to be quite as expensive. But things like Nvidia getting greedy and the whole crypto mining stuff, all of that kind of just ruined GPU prices in particular. Yeah, well, I mean, certain parts are not really going to have heavy planned obsolescence, especially storage space. Failed storage is probably one of the worst things you could have happen. So, a lot more reason to not get bad storage. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it's just most people will get it, and it also won't break the bank most of the time. I mean, nowadays you can get probably up to a 2 terabyte SSD at a reasonable price. And then if you just need mass storage, there's decent enough hard drives, mechanical ones, that you can get. If I recall, Svanna got like a surveillance drive or something that has a ton of write speed on it. And pretty high amount of storage space because it's made to store a lot of like footage for like a security cameras and other such things. But yeah, hopefully you're able to find a solution soon for that. Yeah, well, then there's the thing to understand with like getting a pre-built. The thing that most companies will skimp out on and cut corners with is power supply. And power is also very important. I mean, heck, Grin had that issue with a pre-built as well. That's now his streaming PC, as I assume is bad storage. Or bad power supply, because that will be like the first thing they cut corners with. Then maybe storage after that. Possibly followed by either RAM or CPU. Like, I didn't have a full appreciation for CPUs up until that I couldn't play Hi-Fi Rush. And of course, we've had the issues with the, I think, 13th and 14th gen. Can I? Oh, I can do music and stuff. Yeah, a while back, before a friend of my brother's was kind enough to help him get figured out with a proper desktop, his last PC seemed to be a good deal, but it was a Alienware laptop and it failed pretty fast. Not even like within a year. But not necessarily with any viable warranty. And I think my worst experience with the computer has to be, we got a Toshiba laptop that had an AMD graphics card, which at the time, I'm not saying it's still the case nowadays, but at the time, AMD wasn't very good compared to NVIDIA. And it had Windows Vista as its operating system, so at least a trifecta of oof. And boy, was that turned me off to multiple layers of where to get computers from and its associated parts. But this PC has been serving me well for the most part. I've been having some odd issues here and there, but most of it hasn't affected my ability to stream or play most things, thankfully, so. And otherwise, I'm able to troubleshoot and figure out a lot of it on my own. And it's the last run I have time for. But I appreciate all that tuned in. I will see you guys all tomorrow at around 2 p.m. my time, which is the same time as what most will be used to for Grin streams, so it's just that same hour. Just I'm an hour behind time zone wise. But this was fun. I enjoyed talking about various things. Lone Syndicate
said wonderful stream, Fluff.
Yep, thank you very much. It was nice being able to talk about like various HoloLive things and my favorite VTubers, at least that I can quickly have listed off. But until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow for hopefully It Takes Two with Red. And then I'll have BG3 on Wednesday with my brother. I'll have Helldivers 2 on Thursday. The Masume, however you want to, Horse Girl game, plus the Wuthering Waves 2.0 or 2.5 preview. I'm gonna see what I can do to check that out. And then on the weekend, I will be continuing Stellar Blade New Game Plus, and that's about all I have currently set in stone for my schedule, and I'll figure stuff out as we near the next week. But I will see you all there, and thanks again for watching, and hope you all have a good evening.
Lone Syndicate said, Fluff, you coming back to Wuva?
Maybe, but I haven't played since the Yao and Zheji's banners in that one event. I haven't touched the game since, so I might. But I figured since Grin's not going to be around or available, I might as well humor GT and whoever else is interested and check it out just to see what's going on. But that's why the stream itself is, the gameplay is going to be Uma Musume instead. So we'll see, but I probably only have time to juggle one main gacha game, and for me that's Zenless. I like that game a lot. So we'll see if I end up liking the Horse Girl thing, but I'll probably keep that as a stream thing for while it's trending. And I may consider returning to Wuthering Waves, but we'll have to see what that the next update has in store. It might preview some cool stuff with whatever. I guess that's Iono and Augusta, I think, are the next banners, so maybe if they show off gameplay of those two, might be enough to convince me. Especially if like Lumi or Yoo-Hoo get raid ups or something, that's even more of a likelihood. But yeah, anyways, I gotta get going. So y'all have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at same bat time, same bat channel, I guess. But yeah, see you then. And bye for now.